Aurora Beam Collectibles. Hey, what's up, guys? War Curdle here. Coffee and Pokemon with Zach Humphrey of Aurora Beam Collectibles. Good morning.
Good morning, it's me.
Got my Dunkin' Donuts actually not piping hot. It's like lukewarm. Do you ever make coffee and just let it sit in the kitchen because you forget about it?
I
do.
I tend to I'm an early riser and I make coffee and then I completely forget about it until 2 hours later. Yeah, I'm about the same way.
So Zach is gonna give his thoughts on battle styles. Not battle.
Yeah, so
Matchless
Fighter, which I know Curtis was like, Zach, what are we going to talk about today? And of course, we're going to talk about Shiny Fates. So we're going to talk about some other stuff in the hobby. But I was like, dude, I got to talk about these cards, these birds that are coming in Matchless Fighter, because they are sweet. Do you have them up on the screen right now?
I have the setup on the screen. I'll bring up the birds in just a second.
So, number one, awesome fanfare, right? So thank you, Pokemon, number one, for doing us right by giving us the birds. And then thank you, Pokemon, for giving us something truly different. So it's all Galarian types, right?
Yes.
The Articuno is a psychic. The Zapdos is a fighting style. And the Moltres is a dark Pokemon. How cool is that?
Yeah. Are these the first legendary alternate versions?
No. Well, I might be wrong because they might be.
I think they are. I don't think I've seen, at least personally. I mean, there might be.
What was it? Delta species, where they had a bunch of them that are alternate?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they could have been Delta species.
Delta species, they had alternate types, and then they also had like crystal types in some of those E-series cards.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, completely different artwork.
Completely different.
Alternate, yeah, just like how I think it's the first legendary that has like a different region look and type to them.
Oh, that might be true, right?
Yeah,
because there's not like an Alolan Suicune or something, right?
Correct.
That's cool.
Which if there was, what type would a Galarian Suicune be?
Oh, you know what's funny is Go catches him apparently in the manga, or in Journeys at some point. So I don't think it is a different Suicune, but what would it be?
I think it'd be Fairy.
Ooh, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
Fairy. What about?
Did you see Entei?
I think Entei would be like ground.
Ground
or fighting.
Ground or fighting would make sense, yeah.
Or
I wouldn't have expected Zapdos to be fighting though either. Like, I'm so interested in that choice. What's the moves? What does it actually do?
Oh, the Zapdos?
Yeah, what does it actually do here?
So I don't know if you guys can read this or not. It's he does Thunderclap Kick, 170 base damage. Before doing damage, discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon.
Oh, okay. So special energy that doesn't do much. Being able.
Yep, his ability is Fighting Instinct. For each Pokemon V your opponent has in play, this Pokemon attacks cost a
colorless less. Oh shoot!
Less. Ooh, so if there's 3 out in play, he can cast Thunderclap Kick for 1 fighting energy.
Dude, that's crazy. Because if you're going to be playing like an Eternatus deck, they're going to just have 2 or 3 out on their bench. So if you're playing, I wonder if a deck will be built around that. Dude, that's really interesting. You can't use anymore. Yeah, that seems to be the most playable one out of the 2. Actually, the Articuno, once during your turn, you may discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do draw 1 card, that's okay. But it seems like there might be some sort of deck that you could build around that Zapdos V. That's pretty neat. HP 200. And then, now that these all have V cards, we know we're probably going to get V Maxes of them too, which would be really cool.
I'm surprised these aren't designated single or Rapid Strike.
Good point. They aren't delineated either which way.
unless this artwork is just not, because I don't know if these birds are actually out in play yet. I could see the Galarian Zapdos being a single strike. If it is, then having like a single strike fighting energy, like the special energy, to add an additional, 20 or 30 damage.
Yeah, then that gets you to almost the point. Then you just need to add on some sort of buff or something, and you can one-shot almost every V card.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and then if you're playing an opponent that has a bunch of them, a bunch of Vs out, you can switch in that Galarian Zapdos real quick, remove 2 of them while you're adding colorless energies to it in order to make up for the ones that you're taking out. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting.
I'm excited to see VMAX versions.
Dude, if their artwork looks this cool on V cards, like I am super jazzed about what a VMAX looks like.
Galarian Zapdos going to have some bird biceps.
Yeah, seriously. Well, and this is cool because, like, this is, when we saw Battle Styles, I was a little like, okay, I know Pokemon is trying to take a step back and, like, give us a good player set and not do too much fanfare, Yeah. But here we are, like, right after that, fanfare is firing right back up, guys. We're getting our legendary birds. I'm assuming that we're going to just see more and more of that real fanfare come to fruition as we keep seeing 25th anniversary stuff come out.
I'm excited about Battle Styles and Matchless Fighters. So I do Pokemon full time, and so this is what happens with the new set drop, like Fighting Styles, is I'm going to hopefully get as many booster boxes as I can. I do live rips and breaks, and so I ship hits, but I keep bulk and code cards, and I'm excited for the 50-cent code card redemptions.
Seriously.
And then the bulk and just being able to pay some bills whenever that comes out.
So for everybody that doesn't know, could you explain like the 50-cent code cards and how that works?
So if you guys have code cards just laying around, go to your app store and download code catchers. Look up what it is for your device. I think it's called something different for iPhone and Android. And the way that those code readers work is there's a company that will scan the code. Now it has the digital copy of that card, and they pay you for it. So whenever a set first drops, for example, Shining Fates, their code cards were 50 cents because there's a high demand for it. They can charge a premium for it because people want those digital cards. And so it's basically like buying and reselling real cards. They're just buying and reselling digital cards. So once they have a certain amount, like they have a number they want to reach, they start dropping the price. Yeah. So when the set first drops, that's the best time to redeem code cards because you get the most return on them. So like about 50 cents is what they are whenever a set first drops. But Shining Fates right now has already dropped down to 10 cents. Yeah. So that's kind of how those code cards situation works. But yeah,
that's something to remember because like for whatever reason people wait like 2-3 days to scan in their code cards, and it is a huge difference if you can get it in that day or even if it's like before it even hits street day. And then for those who play the game online, you can go to those, like the Awesome Couple is one of them. Okay, there's a bunch of different ones where you can sign in code cards, but you can then go and like I want to build a deck that's like, let's say we were talking about the Eternatus deck. I want to build the Eternatus deck. You can go onto awesomecouple.com and you can buy the Eternatus cards right off of there and scan them over to your PTCGO account.
Yeah, they'll have a buy list on these as well. So you can go to the buy list and see like, oh, the promo cards from the V Battle decks, for instance, are $1.
Yeah.
So the code card you get in sealed product, don't just toss those because you might be able to redeem those for a little bit of money.
The Zacian Battle League box, that their promos, their code cards were really valuable. I think it was like $10 at one point because it had almost the entire Zacian deck in it. Some of those cards right now, like what was it? The Boltund V. You know what I'm saying? I think that's from Vivid Voltage or from Darkness Ablaze, the Boltund V.
Right.
On PTCGO right now, the trading ratio for that card is 30 packs.
30 packs?
30 packs.
What website?
To get that card.
What's that? What website is that?
So there's a website that you can go on to that shows you like the exchange rate. Here, let me find it.
And where are they exchanging the card for packs?
So it's digital packs, right? So
okay.
yeah, right. So you go onto the trade function there,
I was like,
and
dude, 30 packs?
if you look online, there's a bunch of different sites. I'm gonna try to find out which one of them, but you can find like, yeah, so real-time PTCGO prices. It's called ptcgoprices.com, and it'll show you like the value, quote unquote, of those exchange rates. So if you have a bunch of extra, that's why, if you are downloading or scanning in code cards yourself to your own account, I would suggest holding on to the packs and not ripping them, because you're better off just trading them to try to get the cards that you want.
Oh, the digital packs.
Yeah, the digital packs. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a goal of mine here in the next week or month, is to make an online deck and get playing some online cards.
Ooh. Well, you know what? I'm gonna table that, because we could talk about what deck you're gonna make, and maybe that's a whole other video. Is let's make a deck with Curtis. But yeah, I'm excited to hear that, because I need more people to play with. And next year, my goal is to be in Players Cup and actually competitive in it. So
it's gonna be you and me in the finals, and I'm gonna have like my Mad Party deck.
See, you could. It's coming back, baby.
I always like the kind of off the wall strategies. Like, I am not one to go and make like the best deck. Like, arguably, this is the most meta deck. No, that's not me. Like, my personality is like, well, I'm going to have like the most unique deck and also win. Which is
I get that too, because like, even though I had every deck in the meta to go after, I still built like most of my builds are around Luke Metal, right? So I still like Lucario is my favorite. So even though I know that's not my best deck to play, I'm still gonna try to force myself to play that deck most of the time.
Yeah. So and here's why, because we're gonna pivot off into this. I've got this Houndoom pulled up. I'll let you guys know here in a little bit. Probably already know. But yeah, so I'm looking for ways to explore and enjoy the Pokemon hobby more, because I've found, even with myself, just there's so much negativity going on in the community right now. I don't know if you guys are involved with online communities, Facebook communities, if you're watching a lot of content, but there's a lot of negativity and a lot of upset people in the community about not being able to find product, about the scalper community, kind of driving and controlling market prices at the moment, with turnaround times on card grading, which is frustrating for people. Unfortunately, I think that's also like forcing some people, not forcing, but pushing people out of the hobby, because they just get tired of all that. And I'm going to urge you guys, if you're struggling with that, if you find yourself in a negative mindset, you don't enjoy opening packs anymore, you've kind of lost the love, to find ways to enjoy the hobby. So like I'm not big into the card competitive scene, but I want to get into that. I used to play Magic the Gathering a lot, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I know that I have that same opportunity to enjoy Pokemon as well. Zach, I know you're more of a player. So any of these discussions we have about the competitive side of cards and stuff, he kind of takes point on. But I want to get into that, because I know that's a venue that I can enjoy the hobby in. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine who's leaving the hobby because of just the toxicness in some of these online communities. Is just, it affects people. And so I would urge you guys to find ways, new ways to enjoy the hobby. Maybe download Pokemon Go. If you've never played the Pokemon Go game, that's a lot of fun. If you've never played the games on the Switch, most people have, a Nintendo Switch, download one of the games and try it out. Or, you can actually get on your computer and play some of the old school games on an emulator. They have fan-made games as well that you can look at.
Fan-made games are sick.
Yeah,
Unreal.
A lot of fun. Because and then so this is why the description in this post for this episode of Copying Pokemon is Pokemon Unstoppable. Can anything stop Pokemon right now? Because it is trending up. I mean, like, just everything is up. The company is profits are up, or sales are up, which means they are printing more product. Everybody's wanting to grade everything, like it's disgustingly healthy. And I personally don't think it's sustainable. And here's why. I think the demand is going to start to go down. The market being so driven by scalpers and investors right now, like that's kind of increasing the popularity exponentially, because people are seeing the profitability and the investability in the hobby. Once supply gets bumped up, because they are building facilities to print more product. Once these turnaround times at these card grading companies, PSA, CGC, Beckett, once they get their shit together and they're able to, all these back orders and backlogs of these cards get caught up with, which it'll happen, increasingly faster. The demand is here, right? Like the community and the economy can only consume so much, and it's X amount. Well, it's been lower than that. There's been a deficit for a while. Once that deficit gets eaten up, and all this, let's talk about the grading card side specifically. Once the market gets flooded with all these back orders and of these graded cards, because everyone's grading everything now. Because right now it looks like everything is profitable. Well, that's only because the population of these graded cards are underneath the demand.
Yeah.
So once those get back, and it becomes, it'll start to drown out the market. Prices will go down, investability will go down, profitability will go down, and then we're going to be left with, the community that was here a year ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are some of my thoughts, Zach. I'm interested to hear some of yours.
You're spot on. I think you have a much better grip on the cultural aspect of it, because I felt that same way that you brought up, right? Like, you're seeing all this toxicity. You're seeing people fight over really something silly that's going on in the Pokemon world, whether, something's going to be reprinted or not. And that makes some a group of people clash. And then it's like, oh man, all I want, I haven't opened Shining Fates yet. And I have a friggin' web store, right? Like our stuff is coming late. I haven't seen, I went to 3 stores while I was on vacation, while I was skiing with my family. And all I saw was an empty display of Shining Fates, right? That is so frustrating. I was 2.5 hours outside of downtown Denver, and I still couldn't find anything, right? So you have this perfect storm of the community is becoming a little bit more toxic as people that don't necessarily love the cards and the culture and everything come in. That's going to drive some people out. And then you kind of really started talking about the economic impact of it. And I've been watching that closely, because there's a couple things that are happening right now. There's bad investors coming in, and they're just buying whatever they possibly can. That will not work.
Pokemon equals gold.
Pokemon equals gold, which it's not wrong today, because I think you're going to at least break even with a lot of the stuff that you buy, even if you do hold it for a long time. But modern Pokemon just is not likely to be a good, unless you're holding it for a very long time, it's still not going to be as good as Wizards of the Coast stuff, right? And Wizards of the Coast stuff right now, as we know, Logan Paul is eating that up. Every celebrity is going to start eating it all up. They're going to eat it. And what does that do for normal people like us?
Yeah.
It creates a very high barrier of entry into the most valuable type of investment product, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So what are you going to do now? These brand new people that, they came into the hobby 6 months ago, they could afford that base set Venusaur at that time. They could. Now, after all this craziness happens, the barrier of entry will be so high on those type of investment cards that we just won't see normal Joe Schmo able to buy it. I have a friend, one of my very good friends, he hit me up a couple weeks ago. He said, Zach, I'm really loving watching people open Pokemon cards. I want to get into the hobby. I think it's so cool, right? And then he asked me, how can I start getting some product? And I showed him the prices. And I showed him what it was, and he was like, dude, I can't do this. He's like, I can't. He's like, I can buy some of these cards. And I said, okay, well, we're not Leonhardt here. We're not opening up base set packs. If you want to collect, you want to do this, there needs to be some other reasons why, other than I just like opening cards and showing people the cool ones that I got, right? There needs to be a little bit more to this. So play the game with me, see if you like it, see if you enjoy some of these sets that aren't very popular. Because if you enjoy those, you're going to definitely enjoy the other ones. Like, anybody can go get Rebel Clash still. You can still go get Rebel Clash. If you enjoy that, if you can use those cards, you can build with them, that's great. But so do you see what I mean? Like, that economic barrier for those are going to become really difficult.
Wizard of the Coast is going to transition into this sort of posh market,
Right. So Wizard of the Coast will be like the 1%er market, and then everybody else will be left with all the modern, and that modern just will not be as valuable 25 years from now. You will have some sets. Hidden Fates probably, right? Hidden Fates is probably pretty valuable 25 years from now, unless they keep reprinting the hell out of it,
Yeah.
You probably have your XY Evos. You probably have a couple, your other sets that are even later than that, earlier than that, your Neos, your whatever, some of those still within the first couple gens, probably all the way up to Sun and Moon. But it's going to be, particularly if they pump out a ton of cards between now and the next 10 years, that could be value, a lot of what's happening during that period of time. So a couple other things that are happening. Bloomberg, WGN, and a bunch of other news outlets over the last couple weeks are reporting that Pokemon makes sense. Go after Pokemon. People are literally selling homes and getting rid of assets in order to invest in Pokemon, particularly graded older Charizards. That's particularly what people are looking for that are liquidating that much. Those are probably smart buys because the populations of those are so very low and it's a guaranteed buy, right? Yeah. Other than that, I just don't see economically how it keeps making sense. We have some other stuff going on. For the last year and a half, mortgages have been deferred. Things have been deferred. People have been getting stimulus checks. Jobs have been allowing people to work a couple hours a week and still get paid what they got paid before. That just does not last forever. It just doesn't, Yeah. So we'll see here, but really the biggest economic impacts that we had from COVID, we are yet to see. Think about to the 2008 housing recession. A lot of lines can be drawn to the 2001 to 9/11. That, like, it took 7 years for that economic impact to really be felt during that big recession. So everybody that's like, okay, like everything's gonna be fine, there's all this money, I have plenty of money, I want to throw it at Pokemon, like that's great that you have that right now. But I think a lot of people will be in a very different economic situation post-COVID, and they're gonna have more stuff to do. Just the people that, like, not only are they gonna be in a different economic situation, they're gonna be able to go to the bar again. They're gonna be able to go match on Tinder every single day again. They're gonna be able, we're expecting July, August for that. In particularly the business side of thing, like most businesses feel comfortable with either like a July, August, September kind of, everybody should be vaccinated by then, come back to the offices if you want, start working full time again, what have you. So we'll see, but I do have a feeling, particularly, I hope Pokemon figures this out faster, but if Pokemon cannot print enough 25th anniversary stuff, if they cannot keep up with everything and fast, people will lose interest about halfway through this year, right? Probably about the same time that they're printing out a bunch of cards. So if that supply goes like this at the same time demand does, just like you said, there's going to be a lot of cards out there, right?
Yeah, it's like you've got this, because like as long as the demand is there and the community, that wants it, that's hungry, is there, well, Pokemon's good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, it's like they are not dedicated to Pokemon. They're not bound to it.
Yeah. So this is something that they want to talk about the rest of their lives.
Yeah, if they're, like a lot of the community is, late 20s, early 30s, you and me getting back into the hobby. We grew up with it. We enjoy it. our families enjoy it, our kids enjoy it. We, ripping and opening packs with our kids, like that's fun. Like I made a really good friend here recently, locally, who's got two boys. Like he'll trade his hit cards, like his Charizards and Shining Fates full art or Hidden Fates full art Mewtwo's for sealed product to open with his kids, because that's the only way that he can find it. As soon as it becomes frustrating enough and too expensive to get sealed product to open with his kids, well, that's fine. We're gonna find something else to open, kids. Sorry, there's Digimon, literally a foot down the aisle, and it's MSRP. So we're now a Digimon family.
Yeah, and that's for real. I mean, I buy Final Fantasy and pretty much anything that I can find, really, Dragon Balls, Super, whatever, just because I would spend that money on Pokemon product if I could find it. I really
would. It's so weird. Like, so the community that is like this hungry beast eating up sealed product when it's released. It's like it starts in this chain, right? Like, well, it hits the stores, it hits pre-orders. Well, it hits the scalper market first. Like, it's this big old filter, right? It's the people that, network and get the product from the big box stores, and, network and get the product from their local card shops or their distributors. And then boom, they're like here. And then they turn to the secondary market, which is, the people that pay the scalping prices. Like, hey guys, I have it. Here it is. It's 3 times retail MSRP. Who wants some? Anybody? Nobody. Okay, well, let's drop price. Okay, where's everyone at? Let's drop price. And it's going to get to the point to where people are just tired of that, and they start selling off their stuff and getting out of the hobby, like my buddy did. Super surprising. Love Pokemon. And messaged me like, hey man, some stuff happened. I'm getting out of the hobby. I'm selling off all my stuff. Let me know if you want anything. It's going to be cheap. And I'm like, dude, don't sell your stuff. Like, don't, there's ways to enjoy the hobby without, the sealed product acquiring and investing and reselling side of it, which, a lot of people have fun with. They can pay for the hobby that way. They buy 2, sell 1, pays for the other. But yeah, man, it's as soon as that scalper and investor, reseller market has no one to sell to profit off of, as soon as that profit margin is gone because the community is just disgusted, boom, like there's so that's the crash. And when we say crash, it just means everything's going to come back home.
Yeah. And that's a good lesson so 2 things. One, let's talk about a couple things that you can do outside of just scalping, which if you got in and did a couple scalps right away and you're like, oh, this is super fun, good. That's what, like, people buy and sell Pokemon stuff to keep their hobby going all the time. That's completely fine. That's America, right? But don't just buy it all and sell it all, right? Like, if you want, if you're in this, don't be the sports card guy that comes in and is like, oh, Pokemon just so happens to be here, let me grab all that for the and then resell it. Just try to not be that. If you want to get set up, go to distributors and go and do it the right way. Because even with Pokemon, I don't really think there's that much of an upside to going out, buying a bunch at Walmart, and then coming back and reselling it. Like, it just takes so much of your time to do that. Now, if you have a community like you do, Curtis, and you have a whole build around it, that's a little bit different. But to just drive around aimlessly for hours and hours and hours to maybe get some product, to maybe be able to flip it at a 30% upcharge with the amount of gas, unless you got an electric vehicle and you're not using any gas money or anything, that makes sense, right? But there's so many other ways to do and enjoy. Like, if TCG player, if you're ripping a ton of cards, chances are you can make most of that back just by selling all the stuff that you would sell on, on here, just by doing that, right? So you can open rip and collect what you want to collect, but ultimately just try to be mindful that just because you buy 7 ETBs doesn't exactly mean that you're going to make out like a bandit in this situation. Most people don't even look at their numbers afterwards. It's like, man, you netted $5 after 27 hours of work. That doesn't really make a lot of sense,
Yeah.
But yeah.
I bought 0 of my Shining Fates on the shelf. I couldn't find any. I looked a little bit, but I'm trying to get some social media stuff up and going. I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Be one of the first 200 to get into the free giveaway of a Shining Fates and Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box. So I can't make content if I'm out just driving around all day. But I got my Shining Fates because
you build it around that, though. That's different. Like, you build your entire build of what you do every day around doing that,
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I do make content about going and hunting. I will do that as well. But no, I got messages from guys locally that I networked with that do go out there and they will drive around all day long. And I think they're starting to see that it's not easy to move this stuff at these eBay sold listing prices.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have an eBay store. You have to have good customer feedback, and you have to be okay with taking like 15%, and giving it to PayPal and eBay and fees.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we love to sell through our web store, right? We essentially go from a 10 to 15% fee to a 3% fee, right?
Yeah.
But we just don't have the traffic.
They don't want to ship this stuff. They want to mess with, it getting lost or damaged in the mail. And so these guys reached out and they're like, hey, and they know me and they know what I do. I have a Pokemon Facebook community that I help to run and do some rip and ships and breaks and stuff. And I network well and I treat people well. And I built those relationships to the point of like, they're calling me like, hey man, I've got 6, Elite Trainer boxes I picked up today. $75.
Yeah. Especially with like
all day long, bring them over,
a lot of those guys, are a lot of them sports guys too that you've just met running into, and then they just so happen to get you Pokemon, or is it mostly Pokemon people?
I started out when I moved to Florida. I didn't know anybody. I went out to every Walmart and Target 2 or 3 times a week looking for product. And man, this was last summer. And like, I'm just thinking back to the stuff that I saw on the shelf. When we first came down here, one of the Targets that we went to, me and my girlfriend, they had 17 Hidden Fates tins sitting on the shelf. I don't even think it was restocking day.
I remember distinctly seeing, had to have been 30 of the Burning Shadows ETBs, because those just were everywhere.
They're everywhere.
And
now they're $100.
Yeah, and I literally remember being like, I'm not looking for those. Nah.
Right.
So stupid.
So I did that, and I started sort of narrowing down. I put the time in. I narrowed down. I think these are the days that these stores stock because of what they looked like yesterday and what they look like today. And then eventually I ran into some of these local guys that, knew more than me. They had information. And so I told them, I'm like, when you guys find some Pokemon product, let me know. These are my buy prices. They were finding at the time Hidden Fates GX boxes. I said, I'll pay $35 a box all day on those. You guys just let me know. And they reached out to me several times and sold me some Hidden Fates that way. And yeah, like the relationships grew there. I started learning some information from them. I could catch a vendor here and there.
Yeah.
It's there and we're splitting stuff between 6 people. Hey guys, I'm here for Pokemon. Cool. They're like, yeah, we do sports, but then they're like grabbing my Pokemon product too. And I'm like, bro, like, okay, I see what's going on here. Can I get my share of sports cards, please? So
right.
Hey, we'll go trade out in the parking lot. And then that turned into, now I'm one of the numbers these guys call whenever they're like, yo, I need to move this stuff, because these scalpers, they don't want to sit on it very long. Sometimes a day or 2, they want to have a buyer on it. And so now I'm able to get like decently priced stuff. I'm not getting, retail value on things, but I had to build up those relationships and network to get to that point, which I think there was an earlier video that I made with Kyler Cook about, talking about the hobby right now and how it's evolved, and how if you go into it alone by yourself, it's hard, man. It's like trying to beat one of these Pokemon Game Boy games with a team of 1 Pokemon.
You can't trade.
And you can't trade.
It's funny because we have I have a group. There's like 7 people in our text group. It's all friends, people that are just interested in the hobby. But we do rely on each other. Hey, I'm at, the Super Target out on 6. There's X amount here. What do you guys want? We'll all buy for each other, and then we'll meet up and we'll split it all up. And here's your stuff or whatever. Or everybody go to this GameStop. It's stocked this morning or what have you. And we have to do that in order to find really anything.
Yeah.
But to your point, I meet loners all the time at Walmart and Target. So this is something for the flip side of people. If you see guys, girls, whatever, looking for Pokemon product and you have an in on it, like stop them at the counters and be like, hey, do you collect Pokemon? Are you looking for something particular? Go to the Target that I was just at. There's some Champions Path there. Go. You'd be amazed at how many really good friends you'll meet just by offering them like hey, there was some Champions Path at this previous Target. Go ahead and run over there,
Yeah.
Because you'll know the people. They look like you. They got the same hats on. It's probably a Pokemon T-shirt as well, and they're aimlessly walking around, frustrated that they can't find cards. You'll know what they look like. Just tell them where you found yours.
Network, make friends, and you'll be surprised that how much product that you can acquire that way.
You can acquire a lot. As long as you're willing to pay for it at that point. Don't be the guy that's like, yeah, if you ever see Hidden Fates, let me know. And then a guy finds a bunch of Hidden Fates for you, and then you like, yeah.
So I guess to my point that I was trying to make is that as a community, if things don't happen to inject positivity and that love for the hobby back into the market, then negativity is kind of like a sickness, like it'll spread and it'll get worse. And if you don't, change your mindset about it actively, then yeah, man, it's just, I think it's going to push a lot of people out of the hobby this year. And so
the people that are listening to this,
Pokemon are going to be gone. And then we're going to be left with, the people that don't, the people that just see a pack of cards and see, dollars. Well, it's this $1 and I can sell it for this $1. Well, if the community's just made up of that, it's just going to be kind of a sad community.
It is. And I think you'll find certain pockets of that everywhere too. Like once that happens, once that separation probably takes place, what I would suggest to everybody on here is just eliminate stuff that doesn't serve you. Like if you're in a Facebook group and it's toxic and people, like if you're not buying anything or winning anything or interacting or doing anything in that group, get out of it. What are you doing? It's only going to make you more frustrated about the situation. Choose. I only have a couple communities that I'm in on Facebook. There's only so many things that I listen to on, podcast wise, what have you. And I have eliminated throughout the last year a lot of the stuff that I think, would have or had really set me off to the hobby. So if you guys are experiencing something, you're like, this feels weird, this feels uncomfortable, then just get the heck out of there. There's 100 other communities you can join. You can join curses. You can, do whatever. But you do not have to stay in a rut of uncomfortability with this hobby. There's just too many good people out there.
Yeah.
Go find the good ones.
I think what happens is people will join, like, let's say a Facebook community, and then they start getting this tunnel vision, like, oh, like this is the community.
Yeah.
Like this page is the Pokemon community because, it's perspective. We don't understand that there's millions and billions of people on Facebook, and there's literally thousands upon thousands of Pokemon Facebook pages because everybody is making a new page now. It seems like, to serve themselves and whatever their needs may be. I
thought about it and I'm like, we're gonna go ahead and just keep hanging out with Curtis. I don't want to have that responsibility.
So yeah, those are some reasons why I think Pokemon's going to come back home. Once the supply gets increased to the point where it's drowning the market in product, because we've lost a good amount of people, unfortunately, due to the toxicness of the community. Which like I say that, but again, there's the flip side of that where there's a huge portion of the community that just fucking rocks. Like I love this community so much. There's so many loving people, giving people, trying to inject that happiness and joy and love. Here's free stuff, like Pokemon's awesome. Aside from, the sealed product, which there's, money potential to be made in, it's just really freaking cool. Like the story's cool, the shows are cool, the games are amazing. Go explore some of that.
Download your Pokemon Home, get yourself on Pokemon Go, get yourself on Pokemon Sword and Shield, play some of the retro games, play PTCG. I can't stress enough to how many people are like, oh, I don't want to play the card game because I don't want to make a physical deck. And then they go on to the online version and they're like, this is so easy. This makes so much sense. It's so fun, so engaging. It's exactly what I wanted out of the hobby. I just didn't know this was really here or didn't understand that I would enjoy it as much. So please, please, please go play online. You will learn so much about the hobby, so much about the cards. You'll be light years ahead of other people when it comes to actually talking about the cards. It is,
and then you have an edge. And then you have an edge up on people that are trying to like anticipate market trends. We're talking about anticipating market trends like their stocks, but that's kind of how it works. It's like battle styles, I think, is going to be super, super hype. Singles are going to be high, especially on these really, really playable cards. And code cards, I would be surprised if I saw 60-cent code cards.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cosmic Eclipse, where like people really like didn't see that as a super valuable set until, oh shit, all of these are playable. Like half the set is playable. Oh, okay, everything's $10 now. Oh, okay, the whole set is,
the single prices in Cosmic Eclipse. There was a time where it didn't make sense that the packs were still like $5. Because I remember scrolling through the market pricing on that list, and it was the only one of the modern sets that were still available to where it wasn't just like 10 cards that were worth over $10. It was like 30.
Like half the set.
Yeah, half the set. Like there's so many high dollar. I mean, when I say high dollar, I mean like $10 and up.
There's even I just listed a bunch of the reverse holos from Cosmic Eclipse on TCG Player, and I was finding like $4 reverse holo trainers, like stuff that I literally bought for 3 cents was reverse holo trainer $4, from that set. That's a very good valued card for like usually would be thrown away, speaking of that, do we want to open a pack today? I know we're kind of limited, so
do you want to open a Shining Fates?
Yeah, I don't have one personally, so you open one, man. I want to watch. All mine are coming tomorrow. Oh, yeah, everybody that's listening or are being collectibles will have all their Shining Fates.
Yeah, AuroraMemeCollectibles.com. Check them out. They get their Shining Fates in tomorrow. You can reach out to them via email on their website. I'm going to throw this up real quick because the Battle Style Build and Battle decks, the promo cards were announced.
Yeah, you did. I forgot about that.
So the stamped promos, it's going to be an early release or so they say of the Build and Battle Battle Styles boxes. The set releases on the 19th, but the Build and Battles are set to release on the 5th. Whether they're going to be there or not, I hope so. But the stamped promo cards are going to be Cherrim, Bronzong, Octillery, which is cool. I've always been a big fan of Octillery.
Octillery's a sick card.
And Houndoom, which is going to be probably the most popular of the four, I'm going to go ahead and say, because it's freaking Houndoom. Would love a stamped promo of that. If you guys are wondering what those promos or stamped promos are going to be and you didn't know, that's those. I want to say Octillery and Houndoom are also playable.
Octillery he's going to be in a lot of decks. What was the other two?
Rapid Strike, Single Strike, Bronzong, and Cherrim.
So is that Bronzong? Does that have the ability where it's impervious to fire?
Its ability is Metal Trans. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a metal energy from one of your Pokemon to another.
Got it. The old Bronzong, you would play that in like a metal deck, and then you would throw that out there, and its ability was like no fire Pokemon can attack it. Metal's weak to fire, so you would usually use that Bronzong. That's why I asked about that, because if that was, then that would be a pretty popular card. But since it's not that ability, I doubt it. So yeah, you're probably right. The Octillery and the Houndoom are going to be the most.
Right on. So just a couple other things you guys kind of want to know about. Yeah, the War Curdle YouTube channel, go subscribe so you get a chance to get some free stuff. This is also a podcast as well. If you guys are watching the video, be sure to check out the Coffee and Pokemon podcast on Spotify. You can click following on there and then be updated whenever there's new episodes available. I know a lot of people don't have time to sit and watch, but you can throw us on in your car and listen to us there.
You can hear my sweet voice serenade you all the way to the gas station to fill up in the morning.
Also, check out the website, warcurdle.com, because that's going to be kind of like if you want to know everything that's going on, go to the website, because you'll get a link to the Spotify, to the YouTube channel, and also my eBay store, which, I'll have some fun stuff up on there. But anyway, here we go. Opening up our Shining Fates. I grabbed a Charizard pack. I have yet to pull a Charizard, by the way. I've been hearing all sorts of stuff as far as the pull rates on it.
Yeah, I'm hearing like 1 out of 200, 1 out of 87, 1 out of, all over the place. So.
I think, like people make those. Oh, here's a free code card, I guess. Whoever wants it.
I snap it. I'm going to use it.
Are you?
No.
Are you?
That would be a dick move. Like, I'm the one that's taking all the code cards.
Right, I'm putting it in right now.
Our code cards are always good.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, Metal Energy. Here we go. Okay, so Rusted Swords and Rusted Shields will also be pretty playable from what I understand. So.
Nice. What does that do? The attacks of a Zacian V. The attacks of the Zacian V, this card is matched to do 30 more damage to your opponent. Yo.
It's just like the Sword and Shield when you're beating Eternatus, where Zamazenta has the shield and he protects, you can't attack him or whatever. Yeah. And then Zacian has a bigger attack, yeah.
Q-Fon.
Okay. Come on, baby.
Come
on, baby.
If anyone knows where to get a Q-Font plush, which is the first form of the, what's the big elephant's name?
Donphan?
Yeah.
No,
not Donphan. It's, oh my God.
Copperaja.
Yeah, Copperaja. Very cute. We got reverse Yell Towel. What does this do? I see these everywhere. Heal 50 damage from both active Pokemon. Okay. Healing is good. And we got
Boss's orders.
Hey, here's a question. Boss's orders. So this is a non-holo. When I sort my bulk, do I send this in bulk or do I bundle this up in 4 and throw it on eBay?
Bundle up in 4 and throw it on eBay.
How much are these for?
25 cents.
Okay.
Never list a card on TCG Player under 25 cents unless you have like free shipping and 10,000 listings. Like that's why it makes sense for those companies. Like when you see 10 cents listed on TCG Player, they probably have over 10,000 listings and they're trying to just actively get rid of that card because it's probably been sitting for too long. But if you and me individually are selling on TCG Player, when you sort your bulk, take out all the rares, take out all the holos, take out every playable trainer card, non-holo or holo or anything regardless. So Boss's orders, your Marnies, your Professor's researches, all of those. You're going to want as many of those as you can so you can bundle them in 4 so that way people can buy. Like even really valuable cards, if I have 4 of them, people tend to buy 4. So like even if you have like 4 Circuitry baby shinies from Hidden Fates, most people will buy 4 at a time. For whatever reason on TCG.
Is 4 the max that you can have inside of a deck?
Yeah, 4 is the max you can have inside of a deck. Yeah.
So
that's
sense.
Usually why they're doing that. Some other times, if it's more valuable cards or nicer cards, they're just trying to get the best quality one to grade. So that's why they're buying 4, 5, 6 of them, or they're trying to do a grade master set. So they're trying to get every, one of those. I have a couple of repeat customers on TCG that will buy the exact same bundle every time I put it out there, which I don't really understand that.
Maybe so. The only reason I can see that is it reminds me of my Magic the Gathering playing days. Is I build decks all the time. That was one of the funnest parts, was building a new deck, and so people might be looking for these great balls or Boss's orders or these cards that are staples in a lot of decks because they're just building more decks because it's fun. But yeah, anyway, Coffee and Pokemon. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Zach Humphrey, thank you for your time. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Love it, babe.
Love you. Bye.